All right. Listen, we're here with head women's basketball coach of Jackson State University, Coach Tomekia Reed, where the rings reside, where the rings reside, where the rings reside. Coach, thank you for joining us here on Montgomery and Company.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh,
It's certainly an honor.
we're
Thank you.
blessed. We're blessed to have
So,
Thank
you.
you.
Coach Reed, I'm the product. I'm an HBCU baby. Both of my parents snook right there. They both went to HBCUs, and that's where they met. Now been married 40 plus years. So this is a very welcoming environment. I just wanted to talk about when you did the job as a coach of an HBCU. Like, what did that mean to you?
I've always had my eyes set to be the head coach of Jackson State. I was the assistant coach here some years ago, and we just could not touch the platform in which I hoped that we could touch. But nevertheless, we were very successful when I was assistant coach, and the Lord took me on a journey away from the HBCU, where I coached at predominantly white institutions, and then I came back to Jackson State. Um, and upon coming back to Jackson State, I knew that I wanted my legacy as a head coach to be a lot different from when I worked as an assistant coach. I wanted to accomplish some things that had never been accomplished before. And so to get an opportunity to do that in my hometown, it's just been a phenomenal experience for sure.
No, I mean, you guys have really put yourselves on the map because I know, like, HBCUs, I speak a lot about it, never under talented, always underfunded. And so, what you guys did in the tournament, I know it wasn't, I'm not moral victories, whatever, whatever, but what you all did was so impressive. LSU is a powerhouse. And that defense and that culture that we all saw on display, just talk about that run that you all had in the tournament because I mean, there was a lot of people on Twitter that was pulling for Jackson State. I
Yeah.
saw the tweets.
Yeah, y'all, this year has just been so amazing. It's just been so outstanding on so many levels. I can't really explain. But I will tell you this in the short version of it. When we won a regular season championship, I asked the players if they wanted to stay after the game and cut the nets down. They said, no, we're going to cut the nets down in the tournament. And I said, the tournament? You have to win the tournament, cut the nets down. They said, Coach, don't worry. We got this. We're going to cut it down in the tournament. So I said, okay. They played their butts off. And it was times we got down, but they played their butts off, won the tournament, okay? I got into the locker room after the game. They threw this huge cooler of water on me. And then they threw the entire cooler. So I told my staff, we gotta have celebration one-on-one with the players. That's not
All the hair.
This ain't it.
Right. I had a bruise on my back from the cooler. Like, what in the world? Yeah. So after we had that mini celebration, the players they were just sitting on their phones. It was no overly excitement. And I said, I love y'all. And they said, why you say that, Coach? I said, because it's more inside of you. It's more inside of you, and it's something else that you are ready to go do. And when we got to the NCAA tournament, they were so locked in, y'all. Changed our entire scout. We changed our entire approach. We put in a new defense. We put in several new offenses. We did not want to be predictable going into that game. And the team was so locked in with being different. And when we got down, they never put their heads down. We adjusted. We made some adjustments. We made some different calls. We ran offenses to make them successful, and it just went from there. And I was so very proud of how hard they played and how together we played. And you want to win when you're that close. You want to win, but it was phenomenal. And I think, we made a mark, and now we have something to build from.
Absolutely. You have a lot to build on, and you had some powerful statements in your press conference after the game that I think that people should have just been printing it out, put it on posters because you were speaking on topics that probably some people know about when it comes to HBCUs and different things, and then maybe others don't. But can you just kind of, for the people that may not have been able to hear your press conference afterwards and everything, can you just kind of talk about what you were saying there? Because it was powerful.
Yeah, when I went into the locker room, my players had their heads down. They were crying profusely. It was just a really tough sight to see. They really wanted it so bad. And I told them in the locker room, and this is what I talked about in the press conference, yes, we made mistakes. Yes, we missed free throws in crucial moments. But, we had a game plan. Unfortunately, because of the way we are viewed, because of us being, at somebody else's home, we just had so many odds against us. And for me, they were upset with the officiating. And I told them they have to deal with that. They have to go to sleep at night and deal with that. The entire world saw what happened. And we won't stop at that. We knew what we were getting into when we came in this facility. We knew the odds that were against us. But we won't stop right there. We are knocking on walls. We are knocking on doors. And our players understand that. We've been knocking all year. And soon that door has to come down, not just for Jackson State, but for all HBCUs.
Yes.
That was my spiel for the team.
That's what I'm trying to tell
over
you.
Here.
That's why I needed you to say it here again for the people in the back. So true. We're going to be doing the HBCU homecoming tour with just Think Tank Productions, and there's certain things that people don't understand. Look, I'm an HBCU baby, so I'm going to bang my drum loud about it. But what are some of the things for people that don't know? Like, well, what is the whole big deal about HBCUs? Because there's a whole part of the world that may not know. So, what is it about HBCUs that needs to be invested in and given more energy to?
Well, we don't necessarily have the resources. We don't have the nutrition bars. Our players are not eating the proper foods that they need for energy, for muscle enhancement. It's just we have to be creative in that. Sometimes we don't have all of the proper weight room equipment. We don't have the top of the line locker rooms. We just kind of have things that just kind of hold us through to get through. I'm not downplaying my athletic director and what we have here at Jackson State, but obviously we're not on the same level as our Power 5 institutions. We have a lot of resources and opportunities that we lack here. And again, we are underfunded. And so we need people to put money back. We need the alumni to get heavily involved, not just when we're winning, but because they are a graduate of this institution and they want to give back. That's what we need, and that's what's going to help us continue to go forward. We had to be creative this year. After we lost to Baylor last year in the tournament by 50 points, and I walked off the court with my head down, totally forgetting that we were and are the SWAC champions. All I could think about was getting beat by 50. Yeah. And I told our trainer, our strength and conditioning coach, I want the same workout plan that South Carolina is using, women's basketball. I want the same workout plan that Baylor women's basketball is using. Get on the phone and get these workouts. I want the equipment. I want the vitamins. I want the supplements. And whatever it's going to cost, I'm going to raise money for it. And that's what we did.
Wow. We
didn't have it to that level, but we had just enough for our girls to say, oh, it's game time.
Wow.
Oh, we're doing the same thing they're doing. And so that's what we looked into doing.
That's amazing. I just thought about something. So the previous year, you lost by 50 to Baylor, and you said, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to change up the stuff. I'm going to make sure we invest in our players. And then this is kind of like a full circle moment. LSU has the same, you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Yeah.
You gave LSU a run for their money just a year later by just doing those changes that you just decided to be creative on your own. Like that's an easy marker because it was the same thing. So congrats to you on just taking hold of that because that's amazing. And then I just wanted to ask you about the impact that Deion Sanders has had on Jackson State. There's no energy there right now with the program. Is it trickling down to the women's side? Is the athletic department getting built up from the football department, which wouldn't be a bad thing because we see that happening at Power Five schools all the time. The football program carries the school. So is that kind of on the horizon for Jackson State?
Absolutely. Coach Prime has came in and has brought a lot of great positive national attention and energy to our institution. It feels great to be a household name. It feels great to walk around with JSU on our chest and everybody knows JSU, whether it's that's where Deion work at. Yes, Prime is here. Forget who I am. Prime is here. And so it feels great to have that. And y'all, when we travel on our JSU bus, it's wrapped in his motto, I believe. So people are taking pictures of our bus. People are wanting to get on the bus. Hey, is Coach Prime on there? And so my players think it's really funny. So they always come back and say, no, we have Miss Prime on here.
Okay.
And so yeah, they call me their prime time. But he has certainly brought so much prestige and honor and recognition to our school, to our city. He is certainly bringing in funds to all programs, especially, lifting up football. It's looking great over there with the new facilities that they have. We're next in line to get our facilities done. So it's helping tremendously, for sure.
Love it. And let me just say Coach Prime because I know he prefers to be called Coach Prime. I was only saying Deion Sanders for the people that may not know, but we will call him Coach Prime because that's what he wants to be called because we do believe in, like you said, I love that that's becoming a household name because you're starting to see now a lot of coaches, NFL players coming back to coach HBCUs and not even that, NBA players. And so I'm curious, Coach, we've been seeing fashion at the forefront. They've been calling her Louis Vuitton Dawn for Dawn Staley and what she was wearing. Now, you came correct, too. You even got a little Gucci hat on right now.
I know that's right.
Talk about how fashion is evolving in the spaces, coaches, because it used to be so buttoned up, blazers and stuff, but now we're seeing a little drip, some flavor.
Yeah, Dawn Staley certainly opened the door for the drip. Okay, she is just phenomenal. I can only touch that surface just a little bit. She's the highest paid coach in America. So it's only so much that I can do. But I took that bonus money and went and got something nice.
That's right. I see it. I don't blame you at all.
Yes, but COVID-19, the pandemic, allowed for us to be a little bit more casual. And so we got away from the suits a lot, but my staff and I wore suits and dressed up for the tournament. But going into the NCAA tournament, we wanted to do something a little bit different. But it's all about our students that we're recruiting. They love fashion, with the NIL deals, with the cost of attendance. They're getting in checks every month that's way more than we could have imagined as athletes. And so they love to see that fashion because that's what they're wearing as well. So I just want to stay in times. And if I can be called the baby Louis Vuitton, I want to do it. I want to be Dawn Staley on our level for sure.
No, it's beautiful because I just like how things are evolving. I think it is dope that the coaches now can express themselves through their clothes. And like you said, players will attract, you never know what will attract players to you or how players connect to you. So I just like what I'm seeing in the sense of that is the culture. Fashion is culture. So if you bring a little bit of yourself and your fashion to the court, you're bringing the culture to the court. So Coach, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing in the HBCUs. And everything going on. And listen, don't get discouraged because there was a lot of people behind you guys. I'm telling you, I was watching on Twitter as the game was going on, and the
we were rooting for y'all.
And the closer and the closer it got towards the end, everyone was behind JSU. So there's one thing I always like to ask everyone that comes on MoCo, and it's about generational wealth because when we see it in other communities, it's intentional, it's thought of, it's inherited. But in our community, we don't see it. So I'm curious, what does generational wealth mean to you?
Well, I want to position my family to have something that I hadn't had the chance to have. And I think with the way the game is growing, the way the respect is you become a Black female coaches, it's allowing us to set that foundation for generational wealth. It's allowing us to be in that position to have that. But that's really important. We have to set ourselves up for that, because every mom and wants to place their kids in positions better than what they were. And so that's really important for me. And yeah, and that's what, and I think we're on track for that. Everything that we do, we want to increase,
Yeah.
and we want God to continue to show that favor. And I think generational wealth is not just monetary. I think it's about, the blessings, the mercy. We want all of that to continue to be with us and to abide in that, so we can continue to go to new levels.
Amen.
Wow, I love that.
Absolutely.
Coach, I know you be having the players ready to run through a wall for you.
I
But you be out here
know. I feel
preaching,
motivated
girl.
right now. Like,
I'm telling you. I mean, that's the sign of a good coach, where when you talk, we feel it. We don't just hear it, we feel it. And
Thank
we
you.
feel you, Coach Reed. So
Thank
we'll be
you.
behind you. Just know that all of us here sitting here,
yes.
we will be behind
Yes,
JSU and you
ma'am.
guys as you move forward. Snooka Book is the one that went to an HBCU, West Virginia State. So
Yes.
I was born into this. I was born
Yep,
into my
we
love for
were.
HBCUs,
We were.
and we will continue to
Awesome.
support you along the way.
Thank you guys so much.